Hi, I'm Rachel Tessman from stampyourartout.com, here to share another outside the box video where I'll demonstrate taking the parts and pieces of the latest paper pumpkin kit and a bit of other coordinating products from Stampin' Up! And create alternate projects rather than following the kit directions and making the projects as intended. This builds your creativity, allows you to see that you have options with your kits, and may even teach you other paper crafting tips, tricks, and ideas. For ease in demonstrating, I'll be substituting the clear block that came with my first kit for Stampin' Up's ergonomic blocks. I'll also be using the larger version of the ink pad that comes in the kit and some additional adhesives such as my Stampin' Seal. This January 2023 Key to My Heart kit makes 9 cards, 3 of 3 different designs. Instructions can be found in this pamphlet and through Stampin' Up's linked video if you want to create everything as is. But it's time to think outside the box and make something completely different. I'm making 3 projects in this video, and I've already got 3 others planned for another. I hope that you enjoy, and I hope you visit my channel or blog again for even more that I'll have to share with this kit. These are the supplies that we're going to be using for our first card. So let's go ahead and fold our card base in half and give it a good crease with our bone folder. Now we're going to do some stamping, but before we do that, I am going to cut these off. Yeah, the little yellow extended part, actually that color is Mango Melody, doesn't appeal to me, so I'm going to trim it off. You can do that when you alter your kit. We're going to bring in an ink pad called Blackberry Bliss. It's a nice complementary dark color to the Fresh Freesia color that we have here. The stamp that we're going to be using on this card is the one that talks about holding the key close to my heart. And we'll just stamp that right down in the middle. It's a nice rich look with that darker color. Now let's use the hearts. Let's do the same thing that they instruct on for the kit instructions. And that's just to put some hearts in the background. I'm going to put them actually, you know what? I'm going to stamp that with Fresh Freesia. And I've cleaned off my stamp, and now we'll use the lighter purple, the color that comes with the kit. And we'll stamp sort of right across the middle here. There we go. And now let's go ahead and take this piece and this piece. And we're going to, so this is the vellum circle that comes in the kit, and I want the 2 points of this banner, sentiment banner piece, to go right up to the edge of the circle. So now that I've got that position, I can flip this over and I can put some adhesive on the back side of my circle. You want your adhesive to be hidden when you're applying vellum to a card or a project. You don't want it to be seen. Let's keep that thing in place so that we can make sure everything's up and down, parallel, all that sort of thing. And we're going to center this circle the best we can onto the card base. Now this is not stuck down, just this portion is. And you can see kind of a little adhesive section in there. It's not super noticeable, but depending on your cardstock, sometimes if you have like really dark cardstock, it shows up super rich. Okay, so now on this piece, we're going to flip it over and we're going to add a half of a dimensional, or not even a, let's just do like 2/3 or whatever. So I'm going to cut across this dimensional here. It's got 6 sides on it. I'm going to leave the point at the top, and I'm going to cut across to remove the point from the bottom. So I've still got a nice strong piece, and I want that to go middle bottom of this piece here. Okay, if you make it so that it is even shorter, you'll just see more of the swinging action. We're making a pendulum type of object. Our lock is going to swing on our card. There we go. Okay, and then we're going to take a couple dimensionals. Oh, you know what? Let's do half dimensionals on this one. So we're going to cut it in half, and we're going to put one here, and oops, and here. I like to have my dimensionals in a little bit from the edges of where I'm going to be adding some embellishments. I just think it's easier for mailing if you don't have a dimensional sticking right over where, I'm sorry, an embellishment sticking right over where a dimensional is. Okay, we're going to set these pieces off to the side for just a second, and we're going to stamp in the middle. I'm going to be using the stamp that says I love you, and we'll ink that up in the Blackberry Bliss color, center that towards the top, and then we're going to add the key image in the Fresh Freesia color, coming right underneath that, pointing down as if it's hanging. Now we're going to take the backings off of these dimensionals. And this is where it's going to sit, is right here. And that's going to create the pendulum. It's going to be able to swing back and forth. So we'll lay that in there. And then we'll bring this back up to the top where the corners meet the edge of the circle and everything looks in line and centered. And now we have a swinging little lock. Actually, it's easier if I hold it straight up and down, as you can see. All right, let's do some embellishing. So we're going to bring in the festive pearls. This is a fun collection. I've got a reddish color, bluish greenish color, silver and gold. And grab our take your pick tool because it's great for adding embellishments. You just take that little gummy end and squeeze it. So it's a nice little mound of stickiness. And then you push and you lift to grab your embellishment. We're just going to stick one there. And we'll put one right here. So where the indentations of the banner come in. And I think we're going to put one on the inside too, just to make it look as if our key is hanging on a metal holder. Let's keep working on the front here and do some other embellishments. So I'm bringing in now the heart pearls, and there's 3 different styles. You kind of have a smoky one, shiny, and so I don't know the exact descriptions of them. And then this one's more like a pearl. We're going to use the pearl one and bring in some blends. I'm sorry, yes, Stampin' Blends markers. These are the pair of the petal pink. With each color, you get a dark and a light. And we're going to use the darkest one and the brush end. So you have 2 ends of your markers. You have a bullet tip and then you have a brush end tip. And we'll just color 4 of these pearls. When you first start coloring with that pink, it's really hard to see the difference, but it does show up, and you can see that we've got nice pink pearls now that match this pink that's in the banner. I thought we need to have a little pink in there. So now you're going to let them dry for just a second, and once they're dry, you're going to grab again like we did with the gold pearls. We're just going to push and lift. And now we have our finished card. You hold the key to my heart with a swinging lock, and on the inside there's the key. Very sweet and simple card, fun alternate. I think it's my favorite so far. I'm going to go ahead and show you the boxes. We have some boxes that coordinate with this kit. And just an FYI, this bundle of products called the Heart Boxes add-on is something that only Paper Pumpkin subscribers, active subscribers, can purchase. So if your account right now is on suspended or canceled, you can activate your account and purchase this if this is something that you'd like. Right now, as I'm recording, it is still available in the online store, but it's available while supplies last. What's great about these boxes is they're instantaneous, cute little containers for putting candy in. You've got a heart at the bottom. Let's see, this is top, this is bottom. You've got a heart at the bottom and a heart at the top. They look identical. So why not double them? That's what we're going to do. I'm going to show you how to take, and we'll do it with the smallest one. We'll do the bottom. The bottom one is the smaller one. And then of course it will work with the top one, right? So if we're going to double those, and you get supplies to make 10 of the heart boxes as is. So we're going to make 20 treat containers. Or you could with what I'm going to show you. And you've only got 12 labels, so you will have to cut them in half. And you can see I've already got a couple samples off to the side waiting to show you. So yes, you'll just cut them in half down the middle, and that will double your label pieces that you have to use. And then you've got keys, and you've only got 10 keys, but you've got these hearts. So in one sample that I've got finished already, I've used a heart for the extra piece, and then the other one I've got the key. So what do? We're gonna cut off this top portion. So the long edge here that is at the top, where the top of the heart is, we're just gonna come in with our paper snips and make sure that you're pushing this away. You don't wanna cut the top of your heart. And we're just gonna slice, constantly aware that we're pushing this away from the scissors. And now we've removed that. You don't need that, although I'm sure you can find a project to use or to make with it somewhere else. We're gonna fold that base up like that, and that's, we're not gonna crease here. We're just gonna crease here and here. So we're ignoring this fold, this fold, this fold, and this fold. And then when you come up like this, we're gonna make a pocket. Do you notice that this adhesive is going to get sticky in this spot? And you could put it down if you want to that way, but we're just going to peel up the bottom portion of it. That way we have a wider area to put our candy, and we're just going to trim this off. Do the same thing on the other side. Then another thing that you'll notice is that we have our adhesive going down a little further than maybe it needs to. So then what you do is, if you got a nice sharp finger like mine, fingernail, you just push with it, and you're going to push that adhesive upward. If you don't have that, you could maybe use a bone folder or take your pick tool, but you're just going to press that adhesive so it goes up a little higher, and it's not going to connect right below there. Okay, then one more thing just to make sure we've got extra strong gooiness, extra strong tape going. We're just going to add a little bit more here on the sides. So you can see I just added some there and some there. Probably not necessary, but okay, keep it flat on your table, press it down, press it down. And now we've made the connection to make a little pouch. So again, you've got the same thing on the top and the bottom, so you can get 2 of these from one box. We can make 20 from one kit. That helps for those kids who are in school giving Valentine treats, right? Now, my kids are in 10th and 11th grade now, so it's been a long time since we've made Valentine treats, but I know there's some moms out there that got some little ones, or grandmas that have little ones, or whatever. We're gonna help you out here. Let's take a color that coordinates with the ink that we just used on our last project. This is Blackberry Bliss cardstock, and we're gonna cut it. You can get 4 card bases from an 8.5 by 11 sheet. The first thing that you'll do is cut down the middle. And normally, if you fold a piece like this in half, you have a card base that's ready to go. We're gonna cut it at 4 1/4, again in this direction. So we're gonna have square Valentine pieces. That's just because there's not a lot on it except for the heart. But yes, you can make yours taller if you want to, and you can put them in regular envelopes. But we're just gonna assume that these are gonna be hand delivered. So this is going to be the base. This is where our heart is going to sit. We want to be able to write on here, so we need some place on the back where our kiddos can put their sentiments. So we're going to cut now a 1/2 inch further in on our 8.5 by 11 white piece, our basic white. So instead of 4 1/4, we're going to come back to 3 3/4, and we'll cut. And we'll do the same thing in the other direction and cut. And now we have a white square piece that can go on the back side. And the reason why I chose that size is because the span from here to here gives us about 1/4 inch on each end, and it just looks better. So let's tape that to the back, and that way that will be ready to go. And I'm going to put adhesive on all the edges, because this Valentine, when the candy is inserted into the pocket, can have kind of a curve to it. So we don't want our white paper coming off. In fact, this would probably be a good time to sign it too because it's nice and flat. Let's flip it back over and let's add some special adhesive. Now this is a type of adhesive that you may have gotten in a past kit if you're a constant subscriber to Paper Pumpkins. This is our tear and tape adhesive. It's one of the best. I love it so much. It's nice and strong and it's easy to use. Much easier than the little glue dots that come in the kit. All right, but sometimes those glue dots are handy too because you have, oh, and we're gonna go across the middle here, because sometimes you have skinny things like the keys that you want to add, and instead of using like the liquid glue, you can just add a glue dot to the back. All right, so I have adhesive here, kind of in the shape of an eye, if you're looking at it this way, or an H, a really wide H. So on the outside edges and then right across the middle above or below this little slot here. Now, I recommend putting your candy in at the same time. So we're just going to insert that into our pocket. One of my favorites is Ghirardelli. Now it's not going to go far down, but again, we got a little backing here. So we're just going to push it. And we're going to set it on here so it looks pretty centered. And once that looks centered, we're going to lift and press. And you might notice that these sides come in a little bit towards the top. And then you can take and pull that away, get your thumb down in there, your finger, and really bond it to your cardstock base. This looks like it's lifted up, obviously it is, and this is flat to your card. It's just the nature of things when you're going to make a little pouch that holds some candy. So there we go. All right, now let's decorate this up. Let's take one of our label pieces. We've already trimmed it. And we're going to go ahead and stamp on this. Now, if you're going to use the stamp set that coordinates with the kit, the one that came with it, because so far we've only used the add-on products. So let's bring in, stamps from the kit, the sentiments. You could do that. You could use embellishments that come in the kit. You know, fancy it up with those things, or you can just use these separately. Let's say you've already created with your kit. So we've got our stamps, or maybe you've got some other stamps that are more appropriate for the kiddos giving Valentines, but I'm going to use the one that says love you, or I love you, and I'm just going to ink up the words love you, because I think that's a little more casual. And, you know, you might have a kiddo that says, hey, love you, friend, you know, so we've got a love you on there instead of I love you. Oops, I don't think I got the bottom portion here. I love how you can see through these stamps. Okay, and that will just get stamped right like that. More casual, right? And we're gonna press that onto our heart right in the middle here, like that. And then we're gonna grab one of these little hearts here and stick that like that. And then let's grab some embellishments. Bring back those heart pearls again. I figured out the sheens. This is milky, this is pearl, and this is glossy. And I this time used Blackberry Bliss Blends markers, the dark one, to color in a couple of the milky pearl hearts. Okay, so now let's go ahead and just add them. And I decided it needed one more pearl just for balance. So we have the white one and the 3 Blackberry Bliss ones and the Love You. This one is similar, but I used the festive pearls instead. So I've got 3 gold festive pearls on there and the white heart. Used the blue with the Night of Navy cardstock. Same thing on the back, just some basic white cardstock. So depending on your candy treat that you put in there, you can just change out the color base. So if you want to, instead of using Blackberry Bliss with Blackberry Bliss and Night of Navy ink with the Night of Navy, you can change it out to use black ink. So I just use black ink on these last 2, on this one and on this one, where I've changed it a little bit differently. Instead of putting the half banner right in the middle, I put it off to the side and trimmed up the edges before sticking it onto the Cherry Cobbler cardstock base. And here's where my key balanced it out. So there we go. We've got Ghirardelli love. Fun little Valentine treats, and I'm sure you can find some chocolates that are more geared towards the younger kiddos, maybe some mints or something like that. I don't know. Anyways, that's a good way to double that little add-on packet. Okay, let's do another project. Our third project with the kit contents is going to be some little scrapbook pages. So we're going to be using the following pieces from the kit: a couple locks, the banners, some vellum, a key, card base, an envelope, and then this purple piece here. And we're going to make little inserts that go into pocket pages. Stampin' Up! Sells pocket pages in the 6x8 size, and they fit into this album here. They're perfect for the Memories and More packs of cards. You can make cards with these, you can make scrapbook pages with them, and because these cards are all 3x4 or 4x6 in size, which fit into these pockets. So if you weren't aware of that product, now hopefully you are. So yeah, we're gonna make some little inserts that can go into those plastic page sleeves, and then the rest of the little pockets will then get photos. So we're making kind of a mini album, or the start of a mini album, because obviously I'm only showing you a few little ideas, and we're gonna make them all purplish. So we're getting rid of the Mango Melody orangish yellow color. We're getting rid of the pink. We're going all purple, you guys. So how do we do that? Well, let's go ahead and do some cutting first. Let's grab our trimmer and cut some things down, because we need to have some 3x4 inch pieces for our pockets. So for this piece, we're going to cut right through at the 3-inch mark. So this is, I don't know, I just like the design up here more for the 3-inch wide piece. It's going to leave us with a 2.5-inch wide piece in this direction. We can get a couple 4x3 pieces for our pockets out of this. So we're just going to turn this in this direction and turn it in this direction. And don't throw away this piece, because we're also going to be using that. So here we have 2 page inserts already and an embellishment piece. Now let's work on our envelope. Our envelope, I thought it'd be fun if we had the keys showing on the outside, but then this piece here reversing and going the opposite direction so that we can form a pocket for the other side. So let's trim off a 1/2 inch down here. So I'm just inserting it to the 1/2 inch mark, and we're going to trim. It's also going to allow us to open up our envelope, but we've just gotten rid of this piece here that we do not need. Okay, it goes in a little bit further, but when you trim it 1/2 inch, it will detach. Now we'll bring it to the 3-inch mark over here. We'll flip this the other way. We'll cut at 4 inches. And now we have the side that will have a pocket and the side that's printed. Why did I say we needed 2 sides? Well, because our pages are clear, and when they're clear, you're going to be able to flip them over and see the opposite side. So we're going to make double-sided inserts. So actually, if we're going to make 3, we're making 6, because we're going to decorate both the front and the back of these 6 panels. So this one's ready, this one's ready, and this one's ready. Now we need decorations for the opposite sides of these. This one is going to go with the pocket. Then we've got a couple white ones. So on this one, I thought this was more balanced in the middle, so I just trimmed off 1/8 inch over here on this end, and then measured to 4 inches over here. So that gave me that piece, and that's going to go on one of these. And then the other one is going to be, and I'm trying to remember, oh yeah, right here at 4 inches. And you could save this for something. You can save all these pieces for something else if you want. But the things that I'm tossing off to the side, I'm not going to be using. Okay, so that will go down the middle there. And this becomes scrap for stamping and cutting, which I've already done on a couple other pieces already, and I prefer not to waste too much. So I'm going to use this one that I've already cut from. So we need to stamp on that and trim. We're going to do one of those locks again. Then let's take our snips and cut off these ends. And we're going to flip it over. And we're going to flip this over. And we're going to flip this over. So see? No more pinks. And this is going to get flipped over. Why are we flipping that over? Well, because you have this secret couple stamps in the kit that we don't even think about. They look like this little circle here and this little insert for a key, the little lock part, and we're going to stamp onto this piece. We're going to use two colors for our stamping. We'll use the Fresh Freesia and the Blackberry Bliss. Because we want the background design to be very subtle, we're just going to stamp that one in the lighter of the two colors. Center that, stamp it down, and then we'll use the darker color for the lock. And now we've just made a white and purple lock instead of one that has other colors. And let's just keep stamping since we've started that. So for this this piece that's not quite 3 inches wide, it's 2.5 inches wide, we're going to stamp some hearts along the bottom and along the top. Got some sentiment pieces. Let's trim the word, or let's stamp the words on that. So we're going to stamp the I love you. Let's stamp that to the right somewhat on that piece. And we need to stamp that one more time. For our, I'm peeking here, you guys can't see what I'm doing. For this piece, I'm going to stamp My Valentine instead of To My Valentine. So I'm just going to ink up all the way to the M and stamp that off to the right. That is really easy to cut around. I just stayed about 1/16 of an inch away all the way around. Got that piece ready. I've cleaned off this heart stamp and I'm going to go ahead and ink it up with the Blackberry Bliss, just that tiny little one though in the corner that's over there. We're going to ink that one up and stamp it to the left of the I love you. And then this piece will get this sentiment through here. You hold the key to my heart. This is obviously an album that we're making for someone that we love. And then this one, let's add this first because it's going to make it easier to know where we need to stamp. And I like the dark going up. I'm going about 3/4 of an inch from the bottom, but it really doesn't matter. You don't need to measure it. Just kind of eyeball it. Oh, it's a little extended over the edge, so I'm going to trim it off. And then we'll stamp right above that section there with all the hearts. So now that those are all stamped and cut and ready to go, we're going to assemble. And I've put them into 3 piles. So we're going to make a back-to-back piece with this pile, and with this pile. Let's start with the front. We're going to put this up on dimensionals. And then we're going to trim off any excess on the edge. So I didn't go all the way over to the other side. I think I'm going to place it about, I don't know, maybe 3/4 of an inch down, maybe an inch. I'm using my grid paper to help kind of guide me to make sure I have parallel lines here. So I've got that set. And then on the back side, we're going to add this piece. And when you add it, make sure that it's going straight up and down. In other words, don't flip it over like that, right? Okay. And that will just get added right down the middle. Just a little bit of an extension down there. So I'm going to trim that off with my paper snips. And then our lock will go flat on the back side. If you have a lot of dimensionals in your scrapbooks, it just makes them thicker. So the fewer you can do, the better. The fewer thick embellishments, the better. It's always nice to have foil paper like this or like flat sequins. And now let's trim off that excess so it can fit into our pocket. And there's the front of that piece. And then there is the back of it. So that would be on the front page, and then when you flip it over, you'd be seeing this. So let's make a coordinating piece for that one out of our second pile. For our second layer, we're going to use this Fresh Freesia full piece. And then we've got some vellum that's going to go sweeping across from corner to corner. See how that fits there? It's so nice. In fact, let's put a little bit of adhesive right there. Let's not do that yet. Let's put the lock on there first. So don't stick it quite down yet. Sorry, I got ahead of myself. Okay, the lock and the key. And we're just going to position the lock where it looks good. So we can put adhesive all over the back side of that, which is really the front side, but we're making it the back. And it looks balanced right about there. So before I stick it all the way down, I'm going to lift up that vellum, and now I can put more adhesive through the back side of that vellum. Stick this back down on here. And then we can put adhesive on the back side of the key. If you want to use the glue dots in the kit, you can. For quickness in the video, I'm going to be using this glue. It's the multi-purpose liquid glue. It's a really nice glue to use, and I've got it in a precision tip bottle so it comes out super, oops, and then I got it on my grid paper. Nice, Rachel. Okay, then we're just going to lay that up here like that. If you're interested in a product like this bottle and you want to transfer your multi-purpose liquid glue into a bottle like that, you can find this in on my blog under the shop tab under favorite things, and then you'll be able to access that, and we'll have to just kind of clean that up later. Okay, so there's that side, and now we're going to flip that over and we're going to decorate the other side of it. So we'll just shove that out of the way for now. Okay, so on the back side of this piece, we're going to place the piece that looks like this, and we're going to make it right justify all the way. So we're not going to bring it down the middle. I'm going to stick it and make sure it's upright. I'm going to stick it all the way to the right. And it lines up nicely. And then this piece will go on with dimensionals. Oh, I got a little smear. Oopsie. Oopsie. Ignore it. I have another one that I'm photographing for my blog. But yeah, you can grab another banner piece if that happens to you. Oopsie. Okay, and we're going to make that about 1 inch from the bottom. Coming in right about there. All right, and then we'll trim it up. And that will be the next piece that will go into our page. So what is opposite that? That one's going to be this one. I think that they look pretty good together. In fact, this one's already done. It's just going to look like that. It's going to have the ability to put like theater tickets or a key to a hotel room or something fun that you did together with your Valentine. All right, so that's done, and now we flip that over and we decorate the back side of that, because that one is going to be the last one in the series that I'm making. You could continue on. You could make more and more pages. It just depends. In fact, you wouldn't even need to add them to an album this wide if you only have a few pages like what I'm sharing today. You could just tie them with a fancy ribbon. But let's go ahead and finish decorating. We have these pieces left. And so I'm going to add this one to the vellum right through the middle. It's kind of hard to see. Let's grab a piece of purple. There we go. It's hard to see vellum on white. Okay, so we'll center that, stick it down, lift it up, put some dimensionals on the back side. And then we'll put dimensionals on the back of this lock too. So every layer that I'm doing has dimensionals on one of the sides, just not on both. Okay, and this will go right about there, centered, and this will go right above it. Oh, let's bring it down just a bit. In fact, use our grid paper again. There. It's done. Alrighty, so let's take a look at what these pieces look like inside pages. So you would just insert them into the pockets of your page protectors. These are 3x4 pockets. These are 4x6. So you could put your 4x6 photos in these. This is the front. So imagine 4x6 photo, 3x4 next to it. My Valentine. You flip it over, and now you've got another photo that you can insert on this side, and a 4x6 down here. And on this side, you would put a 4x6 up here and a 3x5 or 3x4 down there. So that's going to go opposite of each other like that. And then you'd flip that over, and you'd put, again, back-to-back photos. So you'd have a couple more inserted here, and then 3 that are 3x4. And these two would be looking at each other like that. And then this is the last page where you'd put 3 more 3x4 photos. I love the continuation of it. My Valentine, I love you. You hold the key to my heart. So kind of like the message just kind of tells a story. And then you could tie these, like I said, you could tie these with some ribbon. Maybe just some twine from the kit if you wanted to use that that Calypso coral color, or you could use some white ribbon, or you could even use this stuff, which I don't have a ton of, so I'm not going to do it with mine. Or maybe I can for the photo. I can do it for the photo. I've got a little bit left here. This is our Fresh Freesia open weave ribbon, and it's just stunning. So, ooh, black and white photos would look good in here, wouldn't it? I'm excited. All right, now my husband and I have to go on a date. All right, fun. By the way, these kits are just $23.50 plus tax per month in the US. Shipping is included. You control which months you get them mailed to you, and there's no commitment or obligation. Did you have fun? For more information on paper pumpkin kits and subscribing through me so that I can spoil you with exclusive ideas, gifts, and prizes, click on the links below. My blog post linked to this video is also in the video description and will lead you to photos of what I've shared today, as well as links to the extra supplies I used. If you missed out on getting this kit, I'm so sorry about that, but hopefully you'll be able to apply what you saw here with products that you've already got on hand. Be sure you have an active Paper Pumpkin account by February 10th so you don't miss out on the next one titled Sunshine and Smiles. We know from the hints that it will contain pre-cut critters, raindrop embellishments, a mini Mango Melody ink pad, supplies to make 9 cards with peek-through windows, and that it will coordinate with the Rain or Shine suite. There are even coordinating dies subscribers can purchase separately. These kits are always a fun surprise, so I hope that you'll join and give them a try. I'm addicted and have been creating and sharing alternates since March of 2013 when Paper Pumpkin first began. You'll find links to these alternates on my website at stampyourartout.com. You can also find many great ideas on Pinterest, through Google searches, and by joining my Paper Pumpkin fan club on Facebook. Thank you for watching. It builds creativity to think outside the box. I hope you enjoyed this video tutorial. Now I'd like you all to go and stamp your art out. Bye-bye.